We are taking you into the news right now with the Fox 45 news feed. It's 11 a.m. We are following breaking news out of Baltimore City. 12 people have been shot in just 12 hours. We're going to look at whether this city's Safe Streets program is actually working and see where the program's funding is going. And in just a few hours, city leaders will meet to discuss crime in the city. We'll look at how the numbers compare to this same time last year. Fox 45 News Midday starts now.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News Midday.
Thanks for joining us for Fox 45 News Midday. I'm Patrice Sanders. We begin with breaking news. Attorneys for Adnan Syed are asking for an appeal when it comes to the decision to reinstate his murder conviction. In March, the Maryland Court of Appeals ordered a new hearing in the case, agreeing that the rights of Hayman Lee's family had been violated when they were only given short notice to attend a hearing in September. Syed spent more than 2 decades behind bars for the death of Lee. In September, his murder conviction was thrown out, and he became a free man. It was an especially violent night in Baltimore. 6 people shot in just a matter of 90 minutes. The burst of violence following a violent day where another 6 people were shot. In all, a dozen people shot in less than 12 hours. Among the victims, 2 teenagers, a 14 and 19-year-old, and 2 women who were injured in an overnight triple shooting. We have team coverage of the crime crisis. We begin with Shannon Lilly for a closer look at a crime hearing that is happening today at City Hall. Shannon.
Well, people continue to be injured and even lose their lives to gun violence. We are now learning that 12 people have been shot since yesterday afternoon, 6 of those overnight. And so the discussion continues on how to reduce this violence. That's exactly what city leaders are going to be talking about right here at City Hall a little bit later on this afternoon. We have information for this meeting here on your screen. It starts at 1 p.m. and it is open to the public. And it's all part of the committee's regular hearings with the police department, the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement, or MONSE, and other agencies as well. And they're going to be monitoring the progress of their crime reduction efforts. But it comes on the heels of more violence. 6 people shot in the course of 5 hours yesterday afternoon. 2 of those shootings essentially happening at the same time, just after 7 last night. And now we're learning that 6 more people were shot since 11 o'clock last night, all in a matter of an hour and a half. That includes a double shooting in Northeast Baltimore, where 1 man is in critical condition, and 2 separate shootings in the Southern District, with 3 total victims that are expected to be okay. Now, one of the shootings that happened yesterday happened in a Safe Streets zone. This along the 400 block of Montford Avenue in Southeast Baltimore happened around 7:15 last night. Police needed dozens of evidence markers to point out all of these casings. 3 people were hurt here, including a 14-year-old boy, but all 3 thankfully are expected to be okay. Now, the shooting came just hours after city leaders were here for a news conference in the same area. They were talking up the city's progress on crime. Then, just about 15 minutes later in West Baltimore, a 28-year-old man was killed in a shooting near Monroe Street and Penrose Avenue. That shooting coming after 2 other men were shot earlier in the afternoon, one in Northwest Baltimore and the other in Northeast Baltimore. So certainly a lot of people impacted by gun violence just within the past day. If you have any information regarding any of these cases, you are urged to call the Metro Crime Stoppers. Reporting in downtown Baltimore, I'm Shannon Lilly, Fox 45 News.
Now, as Shannon mentioned, one of yesterday's shootings was in a Safe Streets zone. Police needed all of the evidence markers that you saw in Shannon's story to point out the bullets. 3 people were hurt there, including the 14-year-old boy. Now, as Olivia Dance shows us, that shooting came just hours after city leaders gathered for a news conference in that same area, touting the city's progress on crime.
Mayor Scott is doubling down on his commitment to safe streets, and now $5 million more will be going to the program. So Fox 45 News pressed for details on how that money will be spent.
Will you and Director Jackson agree to do an interview with us to talk about this moving forward and how this $5 million will help grow the Safe Streets locations?
Well, again, I think that what you should think about that is, Mackenzie, well, What are you asking for an interview? Let's get that question very clearly. What do you want to interview us about? The success of Safe Streets?
I would talk about the Safe Streets program, yes. You and Director Jackson.
We'll get back to you and let you know about that.
Why won't you?
I didn't say that we wouldn't. Next question.
Mayor Scott and Shantae Jackson, the director of the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement, or MONSE, ignored our follow-up questions about how exactly the $5 million will be spent. There are Safe Streets locations all over the city, and the program is part of the mayor's community violence intervention ecosystem, which is a web of programs working to curb the gun violence crisis that's gripping Baltimore. The city has dodged Fox 45 News' questions about Safe Streets, but through our investigations, we found Safe Streets locations are allowed to have up to $500 in petty cash a month, and yet we haven't found out how that money is being spent. Director Jackson has said that MONSE will produce quarterly and annual Safe Streets reports, but no timeline was given for when those details will be shared. As far as the effectiveness of the program, Mayor Scott points to a Johns Hopkins report that was released, but it's important to note the city spent nearly $150,000 for that study, and it showed that there was no significant change in homicides in the newer program locations. For now, reporting in Baltimore, I'm Olivia Dance, Fox 45 News, Midday.
As the city pushes more money into the crime fight, we are seeing more young people fall victim to crime. We know the 14-year-old shot Tuesday is one of more than 30 young people who have been shot and survived this year. 10 juveniles have been killed, including 17-year-old Anquan Jackson, who died from his injuries related to a triple shooting last week. Another young victim, 12-year-old Jalen Richards, was laid to rest yesterday. The crime crisis was a big topic of conversation during a Your Voice, Your Future town hall on Monday night. If you missed it, you can catch it right here this Sunday, April 30th at 3 p.m. The town hall will also air twice on Saturday on MyTV at 3 p.m. and the CW Baltimore at 7 p.m. Or you can watch it anytime on foxbaltimore.com. 11:07 now. Here's a look at today's top trending stories. Trending number one, massive damage at a gas station in Essex after an attempted ATM theft. You can see it looks like a car went into that Exxon gas station. Those who work at the station tell us 5 people inside the car tried to make off with the ATM, but they couldn't move it, so they took the cash register instead. Trending number 2, as crime continues in the city, more people are moving out of Baltimore than into Baltimore. The city's population has been dropping for more than a decade. According to data from the U.S. Census, Baltimore City's population has been plummeting for more than a decade now. From 2010 to 20, the city's population fell by roughly 35,000 residents. That is a nearly 6% loss. Trending number 3, the city is launching a school-based violence interruption program this fall. The city first announced it last year. It was scheduled to begin this spring, but was delayed. We know that the pilot program will launch at Digital Harbor High, Carver, and Mervo. We also know that Catholic Charities will implement the efforts. It already manages several Safe Streets locations. Download the Fox 45 News app for up-to-the-minute traffic conditions, breaking news, weather anytime. Search WBFF in your app store. Still ahead, we know stress takes a toll on the body, but new research suggests that it may not take all that long to recover from it. Coming up, we're going to break down the recovery period. The College Board is making changes to its African American Studies course. We'll look at the politics surrounding that course. And the race for the White House is widening. We'll look at the growing field of candidates tossing their hat into the ring.
And I am tracking some April showers today, even an isolated thunderstorm this afternoon with highs in the mid and upper 60s. I've got an updated look at the timeline of when the showers and storms will develop and what it means for the rest of your Wednesday in a couple of minutes on Fox 45 News Midday at 11.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
11:10 and taking a look at your social stream. Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson is set to launch his presidential campaign in the coming hour. The Republican served 2 terms as governor. He was also a congressman and an official in former President George W. Bush's administration. Today's announcement comes a day after President Joe Biden formally announced his re-election campaign. Field getting wider there. Here's what you're saying about it. Kyle says, very proud of you for standing up against the odds. We need a genuine, steady hand that will get America back on track. Nate on the other side saying, stop now. You are wasting taxpayer money when you don't stand a chance. There are other more viable conservative candidates, and we know that you are blue on the inside. Well, the College Board is making changes to its new AP African American Studies course. It comes after critics argued the College Board bent to political pressure and removed several relevant topics such as Black Lives Matter, slavery reparations, and queer life. The AP course made headlines when Florida Governor Ron DeSantis rejected the course in Florida schools because he said it had a political agenda. And let's see what she's saying here on social media. I'm anxious to see what the changes are. Who knows? They could have made it worse. I hope not. Another person, Mitch, history is also supposed to be without an agenda and, you know, accurate. Well, a new assessment shows the U.S. might be unprepared for another pandemic. Dozens of bipartisan experts in the COVID crisis group put out a 350-page book called Lessons from the COVID War. In it, the group criticizes both the Trump and Biden administration's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. The book says the CDC wasn't built or prepared for a national health emergency, and it notes other problems involving data. What do you have to say about it? One person. All of this has been obvious for years. It was obvious as it happened. And the book, The Premonition, has already told this story. Frustrating that they think this is new or news. And then we've got another one. This pandemic stripped away a normal college life for me. I never live in regret or fear, but I definitely do wonder what my life would have been like if I could have experienced a normal college life. Still ahead, difficult to work with. Coming up, the age group managers say they dislike working with the most. And the lone survivor of the Stricker Street fire retires. The emotional send-off ahead. And coming up later today, at noon, it's Karamo. Then at 1, it's Sherry, followed by Hot Bench at 2. 11:13 now on Fox 45 News Midday. .15 now. We're back with a live look over Towson. A warm day ahead, but we will see showers move in by tonight. Meteorologist Amy Aronson is tracking the timing of that system coming up in about 5 minutes. Making headlines, the lone survivor of the Stricker Street fire collapse retires from the department. Firefighter John McMaster, his friends, family, and fellow firefighters celebrated his service to the city at Engine Company 14. They presented him with gifts and a party as a thank you for helping to keep Baltimore safe. Now, in January of 2022, McMaster was critically injured when a vacant, burning home collapsed on him. 3 other firefighters, Paul Buttram, Kelsey Sadler, and Kenny Lacayo, were killed. McMaster was saved from the rubble and spent 3 days at the University of Maryland Shock Trauma Center. In the wake of the tragedy, the fire department implemented new safety measures, including a program marking vacant homes to warn firefighters of potential collapses before they happen. Fire Chief Niles Ford also resigned after a report showed multiple failures in the department. Topping your national news, a live look over at Capitol Hill, where House lawmakers say a vote on raising the U.S. debt ceiling could come as early as today. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is proposing to raise the limit by $1.5 trillion. To do it, he'd have to make cuts to one of President Biden's signature legislative achievements, the Inflation Reduction Act. In order to make the cuts, McCarthy needs to secure at least 218 votes. But Republicans have a slim majority in the House. There are just 222 representatives, meaning that McCarthy can only lose 4 votes from his party to still pass the measure. And it could be an uphill battle for McCarthy, as the 3 Republican representatives, 3 of them, voiced their opposition just yesterday.
Yeah, I'm a hard no. I just can't get past $32 trillion in debt.
I am still a no on the debt ceiling.
Still leaving no.
Time is of the essence. The U.S. Treasury Secretary signaling in January that the government could only pay its bills through early June without increasing the debt ceiling. Coming up later today on Fox 45 News at 4, a Baltimore resident too scared to leave her home. We're hearing her concerns over an open-air drug market and a rise in crime in her neighborhood. 3 people, including a 14-year-old, shot in East Baltimore last night. It's an area Mayor Scott is touting his Safe Streets intervention program. Coming up at 5, why city leaders continue to support the program. And a CDC report finds that teen girls experience record high levels of violence, sadness, and suicide risk at 6. We have advice for them and parents. You can get Fox 45 News in a flash through your Amazon Alexa or Echo. We now deliver your local headlines and forecasts in less than 2 minutes. If you have an Amazon device, tell it to enable Fox 45 Baltimore. 11:18 and trending today, a new survey finds managers think Gen Z is the most difficult generation to work with.
Well, frankly, they come to us with a very different perspective.
A new survey shows 79% of managers think Gen Z is the most difficult generation to work with. 20% of those managers say they've had to fire a Gen Z worker within a week of their start date. They say that Gen Z lacks technological skills, motivation, is entitled, and easily distracted.
A student can go through 16 years of education, including college, and maybe never have had a full-time job. I had 3 jobs in college, so it's a different animal, and I think it's going to feel a little bit to a manager like a cross-cultural relationship that we're going to have to really work hard to meet in the middle.
Gen Z workers are currently aged 26 and under, meaning much of their work life occurred during the pandemic. Mark Clark with Be More Lifestyle is here now. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, I think, be honest, though, I think it's a new time. I think, you know, it's almost like you can't manage them the same way you manage us, Patrice, not to put you in my age bracket, but I'm just saying, you know, we stuck to the task. We didn't ask questions. No, that generation, that's over. So you're going to have to match, what they're offering.
I think some of what they're saying, I've seen examples of it where maybe some younger folks come in thinking that they know all the answers to things that you've been doing for, XYZ 20-something odd years, and they really don't. So I think there's got to be some give and take. They've got to listen to the folks that were there before. The older folks have to listen to new ideas, but I might agree with some of what they're saying.
Well, but in defense of the Gen Zers, they're saying the worst. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I think there's the worst in every group.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know now. Some old heads can be the worst, too, now.
Agreed.
Talk about knowing everything. Come on now.
I will give you that for
And
sure.
I'm an old head. And I'm an old head.
And you think you know everything. So
well,
now
actually,
I'm wrapping
Patrice,
this up. I don't want to
right.
talk about it anymore.
Let's talk more. I want to talk more.
Let's move on. Amy Aronson, she's not in either of these groups. It's a nice but cooler start to the day, much better than the storms that those in Texas are waking up to. Meteorologist Amy Aronson is here, and she's got the worst weather, not the worst employees.
No, I sure hope not. Let's head to the Lone Star State, where they are dealing with some big hail there, actually damaging hail. Hail bigger than baseballs. We don't typically see that sort of stuff here in Maryland, but that's what they're seeing just north of Sweetwater, Texas. Here's another look at the storm responsible for that hail, an unbelievable supercell there. This was last night. Here's a close-up of that hail. Pretty big stuff. That's the kind of stuff that can cause damage, especially to your vehicles. And it looks like Texas under the gun for severe weather again today. That's the orange here on the map. They are under a moderate risk for severe weather, and that does include the Dallas area. If we take a closer peek at what's happening here in Maryland, we've actually got a general thunderstorm risk. So no severe weather threat for us, but we can't rule out the potential for some thunderstorms today. Here's that weather maker moving through Texas. You'll notice showers and storms already underway there. We've actually seen our share of some sprinkles and some showers this morning, and even some thunder just north and west of Baltimore. Right now, that first batch of showers is getting out of here. We're going to dry things out briefly, but we're not in the clear just yet. We could see more showers, more storms this afternoon. Right now, just mostly cloudy and pretty comfy. We're hanging out in the very spring-like low 60s right now, so not a bad end to the morning. After the showers move out of here, we're seeing a few lingering sprinkles just north and east right now along 95, but otherwise the rest of us are dry. And if we take a look at what to expect for the rest of the day, looks like between 2 and 3 o'clock we get another round of scattered showers, even some storms, and they will linger through your drive home this evening. Looks like drier conditions then as we head into Thursday. We catch a brief break from the rain, but more rain to wrap up the week on Friday. Friday actually looks pretty soggy. So here's how the next 3 days play out. We've got showers and storms this afternoon, drier and warmer tomorrow, but then more rain and cooler temperatures by week's end. Quick look at the next 10 days shows some showers to start off the weekend and then some showers to end it on Sunday. So kind of an unsettled last weekend of April, but it looks like as we head into May, temperatures will be hanging out in the 60s and low 70s again. Patrice?
Thank you, Amy. Still ahead, there is a new Barbie in town. How the new doll is helping teach acceptance and love. And bring your furry friends with you the next time you grab dinner. We're going to look at the new pet-friendly guidelines from the FDA. 11:22 now on Fox 45 News Midday. 11:25. There is a new Barbie, and for the first time, Mattel's newest doll is representing a person with Down syndrome. Mattel says it collaborated with the National Down Syndrome Society to design the doll's shape, clothing, accessories, and packaging. The doll is part of the Barbie Fashionistas line, which aims to offer kids more diverse representations of beauty and fight the stigma around physical disabilities. Elon Musk's SpaceX has won approval for a fifth launch site in America. A new lease has been granted to SpaceX at Vandenberg Space Force in California. Now, that news comes just days after SpaceX's mega rocket exploded last week, shortly after takeoff. Time now for your lunch break. Why not include your dog the next time you dine al fresco? The FDA is out with new guidance saying it is perfectly safe to bring dogs to restaurants with outdoor seating. According to the most recent FDA food code, dogs are safe to be outside. They should not go inside restaurants unless they're service dogs. I've seen that inside. It always makes you wonder. Well, that's all we have for Fox 45 News Midday. Be More Lifestyle up next. Mark Clark back to tell us what they're working on.
All right, Patrice, we're talking about the hidden work that so many moms do, especially stay-at-home moms. Coming up, just how many people one man says he had to hire to replace all the work his wife was doing around the house. Stick around. You said 20.
You're watching Fox 45 in Baltimore. Now live from TV Hill, this is Be More Lifestyle.
What's up, Baltimore? I'm Mark Clark. This is Be More Lifestyle live from Studio A at Fox Baltimore. Lady T is here along with fitness expert Lyndon Johnson and meteorologist Amy Aronson. Good morning, ladies.
Hey, good morning. Happy hump day, y'all.
All right, let me tell you right now, a woman is asking for advice after being ghosted by a date. That's when the person just up and disappears and stops talking to you. But this doesn't happen just after a few dates. A woman says she'd been dating the guy for 8 months. It was a long-distance relationship. She says he just suddenly stopped responding to her messages. London, what do you think? What's up? What happens when this happens?
Well, it sounds like he has someone else. That's what it sounds like. And usually when things happen like that, that's a blessing for her. So, lady, let him go.
Okay. Lady T, has this happened to you?
Well, I have been ghosted, and I, too, have ghosted someone.
Okay.
You know what? Sometimes you just lose interest, okay?
Wow.
And sometimes you lose interest after a couple weeks, and then, honestly, it's not even that they don't have enough money. I don't want to say that's the first reason, but that's the second reason. The first reason would most likely be that they're just not interesting sometimes, and they just don't seem like they're as obsessed with me as I need them to be.
Amy,
So, yeah.
Amy, we know you're married. Did this ever happen, or would you do this
She
to
got a
anybody?
ring on it. Amy's tied down.
Yeah, married 1 year. No, I would never. Number one, I would just send a quick text. I mean, it's long distance anyways. Can't you just send a quick text and say, hey, it's not working out. See you later.
It could have been serious if it was long distance.
I mean, 8 months long distance.
It was already long distance. Since you already weren't seeing him. So
That's
that was
already
just
an
permanent.
issue. Yeah.
That was just permanent.
Right.
You're good.
Right.
I got ghosted one time.
I agree.
I didn't hear from her. I called her. Hello.
Oh, Lord.
Sing
She
it.
never
I
answered.
said stop singing. So I
Okay,
just
we
couldn't-
want you to tell it. Have you ever been ghosted or ghosted somebody? Vote on our website now, foxbaltimore.com/vote. When you get to the website, make sure you click on the Lifestyle tab. You can also vote on our Fox 45 News app. You know how we do it at the end of the show. We'll find out what you're talking about, okay? Thinking ahead to Mother's Day, get your mom something nice to show her you appreciate her. Young moms highlighting just how much work stay-at-home moms do after tragically losing her friend. The woman says her best friend passed away, and only then did it become clear just how much she did for her family. The woman says in order to fill the void, the woman's husband had to hire 4 people. He's hired a house cleaner, 2 babysitters, a landscaping company, also relying on neighbors and grandparents. The woman, you know, she now has a village to help, but before it was just the mom doing it all. So moms out there, it's tough out there. So London, your thoughts?
I think that's a great idea. As far as gifts, one of the many things that I love doing for my sisters, I have 2 sisters, and we love just going to our mom's grave, and we just actually have, like, especially if it's nice outside, have like a picnic or something like that. And my father's there too, so yeah. So going to the grave and just having a little celebration.
Oh.
So Amy, you know, mommies do a lot.
Yeah, apparently. I'm not a mom, but I know many moms. My sister works really hard.
Yes.
My mom raised 3 kids, and yeah, don't know how she did it, but obviously many jobs that go into that. And it shows you right there. It took, what, 4 people plus other people to help them out to kind of do everything that mom did. Crazy.
And Lady T, we know how much you loved your mom, so, you know, again.
Oh, my gosh.
Come on now.
Yes. Let me tell you something. A woman's work never ends, okay? It's so true. Like, okay, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. Before my mom passed, she did all of these things. She had all these things set up, and we had our lawn mowed after she passed. She had all these things set in place. And let me tell you something. Even in spirit, my mom was still running our household.
Come on, Mom.
Okay? A woman's work never ends. So shout out to all the moms out there who are doing things like that. The
Lady
wives
T,
of
did you
moms.
say a woman's work?
A woman's work.
Okay, okay.
Here we go. Album coming soon.
Right.
Stress takes a toll on the body, but new research suggests it doesn't have to take too long to recover. Scientists at Duke University School of Medicine use DNA to calculate changes in the biological age in humans and mice. The research found that stress may increase your biological age in a short amount of time, but it may take only days to reverse it when the stressors ease. So, London, you're a fitness queen. You agree? You agree?
Yes, stress can kill, actually. So exercise is like the top thing to do to combat stress. I know I do it. I work for the federal government, and yes, I exercise to combat that stress.
She does. She bounces. She does. Give us a bounce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And she bounces, bouncing the stress away.
Yes.
Coming up, London and the crew are going to be bouncing to relieve some stress. Thanks, everybody. Still
Yes, that's the segue, Mark. That's the segue.
Thank you very much. Still ahead finding the right fit for your company. Coming up, the new resources to help you find the best candidates out there. And it's a fire pit you can use anywhere. We'll show you the cool new tabletop fire pit that's the perfect addition to your outdoor living space. Stick around.
You're watching Be More Lifestyle.
There's nothing like a fire to make cool nights cozy. Nick Calderon is here with a clever fire pit that's designed to be hassle-free and used almost anywhere.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
Nothing feels as good as a fire. It's something in our human DNA that's just kind of primal. When you're sitting next to a fire, it feels good. But most of us don't have the room, the space, the time, the money for a full-on backyard fire pit. I think I've got the solution. This is the tabletop fire pit by Sharper Image, and it's beautiful. All you need is rubbing alcohol. Pour a little bit of rubbing alcohol into this cup, and you've got yourself a nice fire. Just like that. No messy, greasy fuels, no choking smoke, just rubbing alcohol. And this thing is super portable. You can take it to backyard barbecues, on your patio, to the beach, wherever you're going, you can have a nice, warm, romantic fire. It's safe and easy to use. You can even cook with it. Maybe some marshmallows or a little cocktail weenies or something like that. If you need to extinguish it, that's also very easy. Just cover it up. I love this thing. I use one in my backyard all the time. It adds that extra spark of romance and ambiance. And it's better than candles because there's no drippy, messy wax. And if it goes out, all you have to do is fill it back up and relight your fire. Right now, we're offering 30% off the tabletop fire pit. Get one for you or a loved one for that instant ambiance. Head to asadeals.com for this exclusive offer.
This Be More Lifestyle segment is sponsored by Indeed.
Finding the right candidates can be a challenge for employers. Luckily, Indeed is streamlining the hiring process for employers of all sizes and industries. Here to tell us more is Executive Vice President and General Manager of Employer at Indeed, Raj Mukherjee. Raj, how are you?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Definitely. What challenges are you seeing in the job market today?
Well, the job market's anything but normal. Right now, you see, on the one hand, in certain sectors like technology, there is layoffs happening. On the other hand, in other sectors, whether it be healthcare, as an example, you really have challenges in hiring talent that you want. And the unemployment rate is still very low. It's still at historically low unemployment. And so this has been happening for a while. I mean, we know what's going on. There's shrinking talent pools, there's an aging population in the country, you have less immigration, and you have changing worker preferences, which again happened during COVID timeframe. So all of this is making it a very tight labor market for certain sectors.
Wow. So what are the current barriers employers are facing? You mentioned them, making it more difficult to hire. And what are you doing to help local businesses to get talent faster and more efficiently?
Yeah, employers face a lot of barriers. I'm going to give you a few. The time it takes to hire, poor quality of candidates, competition from other companies, not enough applications, and also lack of people resources to manage the hiring process. And this last part is really important. This is where technology can come in. And you asked about how are we making hiring faster and easier. Well, as global leaders in hiring, we're constantly hearing from our employers, and they say, hey, make it easy for me, make it faster for me. And we are doing that by evolving into becoming this hiring and matching platform. And both are important on this, the matching and the hiring part. The matching part, when you are an employer, local business or large business, when you come to Indeed and you post a job, we make it really easy for you to do that, but then instantaneously, we show you candidates that are a good fit for your job and allow you to proceed and say, okay, yeah, I want this person, I want to talk to this person, make it easy for you to reach out to that person. And then all in the same platform, we allow you to schedule interviews and have the interview itself. So all of this is the hiring platform. You have an end-to-end capability sitting in one place. You don't have to use multiple tools. You can just use Indeed to do all your hiring.
That's amazing.
And yeah, that is what we're trying to do for all businesses.
And that's how your platform is different than everybody else, right?
Well, our platform is not just different with that. Like again, we have 300 million job seekers who come to Indeed looking for jobs, and more than 3 million employers who are looking to hire, all on the one platform. Talked about the hiring and matching aspects. And last but not the least, we're also making it really easy for you to pay for your applications. Moving away and giving you a new option where this option allows you to only pay for qualified applications. Very different, nobody else in the industry does this, where you can come in, once you get these applications, you have 72 hours as a business owner or as an HR professional to decide if these applications meet your criteria.
Okay.
And if they don't meet your criteria, you can reject the application and not pay for it.
Well, Raj, thanks for your information. Appreciate it. Again, where could people go for more information?
Very simple. Go to Indeed.com, INDED.com.
I love it. Thanks so much. Still ahead, Getting Fit this spring will show you a fun new way to exercise and burn a lot of calories. But first, the rise of tech is meaning we're surrounded by more data than ever before. But what do we do with it? Coming up, we'll look at how to make sense of all of the data or whatever. Coming up next.
This is Be More Lifestyle.
The Lioness Bounce team helps you jump your way into fitness in London. Mia, Pamela, and Kim are joining us right now on Be More Lifestyle. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start with you, London. Tell us about the team.
All right, so we are a team of fitness instructors and students, and we have been bouncing for like a little bit over a year now. We do all kinds of events, festivals, we go overseas. So we use our Kangoo Jumps boots, which are called rebound boots. And that's just basically it.
Can we see, so I know this, is this considered a cardio? Is it both cardio and resistance?
Mia?
It is. It's both cardio and resistance. You have to utilize everything that any fitness instructor has ever told you in order to be successful in these boots, from standing up straight, contracting your abs, standing tall, breathing, all of those things.
What about booty? You gotta hide the booty in, right? The tight booty? Okay. Can we see you guys do your thing? Like an example of make a bait. Is it a move or just jumping up and down?
Sure. So it's really just a compilation of different moves that we do. We do different choreographies to it. Anything that you can do in your regular shoes, for the most part, except for hiking, you can do in these boots. So as far as just walking, running, kickboxing, all of those things that you can do, boot camps, anything that you do, you can do in these boots. People also like to clean their homes in boots.
And jumping around.
And just jumping around.
Is
That's the movement.
Do you mainly do you just jump? Are there any floor exercises, or you just mainly it's on the boots?
We do floor exercises, yes. We do boot camp. So we've done planks in them. I know me and Hyde had a little competition going on.
Okay.
Yeah. We did you can do planks, you can do crunches, all kinds of things. Squats, of course.
Because they're weighted.
Yes.
Oh, they're weighted.
They're a little bit weighted, so about 2 to 3 pounds. So you're adding that on to any exercise that you do.
So I know people are watching, like, number one, where can I get these, but how can I learn and participate? How do they reach you guys to make this happen?
Well, if they want to purchase them, trust me when I tell you, all brand boots are not created equal.
They're not created equally.
No, you can go on Amazon if you want to, but you're going to risk your feet.
So they should contact you guys?
They should.
Yes.
Or jumpboots.com, like jumpinginboots.com, and if they use MIA as a discount code, they'll get one.
Well, let's wrap it up and jump together. Let's go, ladies. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. Okay. Amy, what's the weather like?
Out there. Now, you need a pair, Mark. How fun is that? We're actually going to head north and west of here and check out the northern lights. We've been talking about this a lot this week. You can actually see them in Yellowstone right now. So such an incredible scene there. Jaw-dropping views, actually, as we take a look at what they've been seeing recently. Here's another look at the northern lights, actually from California. So some areas well north, well west of here, getting a chance to see this cool phenomenon. And if we take a look at the northern lights forecast for tomorrow morning, we are still tracking that potential in extreme northern latitudes to see the northern lights. Not quite as far south as here in Maryland. We're also tracking some active weather across the south. Texas under the gun for severe storms again today. For us, we're actually tracking some showers and the potential for some storms too. All looks quiet right now, but we can see some additional showers just starting to bubble up in extreme western parts of Maryland. That's what's going to head our direction this afternoon. Low 60s, mostly cloudy right now. We're all dry for the next couple of hours. The day far from a washout. We do see that next round of showers and storms kind of fire up right around 3 o'clock, leading up to your drive home this evening. A few lingering showers throughout your drive home close to 7 o'clock. After that, we're actually dry tomorrow. We take a nice break from the rain. We enjoy some milder temperatures, but then it all comes back on Friday. Friday looks like a washout. Make some indoor plans. We've got showers from the morning through the afternoon, straight through Friday evening, unfortunately. So we are closing out April with some April showers. We've got some showers, even some storms briefly this afternoon. We're dry, we're warm tomorrow with highs close to 70. And then on Friday, the rain chances go up, the temperatures come down. We settle back into the cooler low 60s with some showers. And that sets us up for a pretty unsettled weekend. Final weekend of April. Some lingering showers Saturday morning, drier Saturday afternoon. And then it looks like Sunday starts off dry, but it ends with some rain and temperatures back in the low 70s. A quick preview of what to expect for the start of May shows pretty seasonable temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s all the way through the end of next week. Back to you.
This Be More Lifestyle segment is sponsored by Oracle.
New research from Oracle reveals more than 3/4 of Americans say they are getting bombarded with more data from more sources than ever before. The impact is worrying, with 85% of people saying that having so much data to comprehend leaves them with an inability to make decisions. This negatively impacts quality of life, with 44% saying it causes spikes in anxiety. Renowned data scientist and New York Times bestselling author Seth Stephens-Davidowitz joins us to discuss the findings and give tips on how we can manage the vast amount of data we face daily. Now, what did the findings tell us about all the data each of us receives every day?
Well, I'm a data scientist, so I love data, and I thought the rest of the world responded to data the same way I did. Like, give me more charts, give me more tables, give me more numbers. And I think this survey suggests that that's not how many people see it, that many people just feel like it's too much. They don't know what to do with these numbers. They see one number that says this, then tomorrow they see a number that says the exact opposite. And people feel like they're drowning in data, and it's actually hurting decision making.
So, Seth, what role does data play in our judgment and aspects of our everyday lives?
Well, ideally, it plays a role in allowing us to make better decisions. There's tons of research showing the value of data and making decisions, the value of information, the value of not just winging it and doing what feels right, but sometimes stepping back and collecting the best data possible. So that's ideally the role it should play. But what this survey says is that That's not the role it plays to many people. For many people, it leads to decision paralysis.
Now, where's all this data coming from?
All over the place. I mean, it's basically due to the internet and the digital world we live in, that everything we do is now collected as data somewhere. And, the clicks we make, the websites we visit, the surveys that so many of us participate in, that's all leading to more and more data.
And what's the best ways for us to manage the data that we do receive?
I think remembering that a particular data point is just one data point and not, definitive necessarily, just one piece of information to add to, how you understand the world. If you just learn this study says coffee extends your lifespan, you don't have to buy all the coffee in the supermarket tomorrow because a study in a week may say the exact opposite. So kind of slow down and allow information to slowly come to you and slowly change how you view the world. Don't maybe overreact to any particular data point.
So where do we go to get more information?
So the more information on our study can be found at oracle.com.
Hey, Seth, thanks so much for joining us, okay?
Thanks for having me.
All right, take care. A woman says her boyfriend of 8 months suddenly up and vanished. Coming up, your take on ghosting and if you've ever done it or been a victim of it. Stick around. A woman is asking for advice after being ghosted by a date. That's when the person just up and disappears and stops talking to you. But this didn't happen just after a few dates. The woman says she's been dating the guy for 8 months. It was a long-distance relationship. She says she just suddenly stopped responding. He just stopped suddenly responding to her and her messages. We wanted you to tell it. Have you ever been ghosted or ghosted someone? Right now, most of you are saying neither. Well, that's good. Well, we got a great show lined up for tomorrow. We're going to be watching tonight's all-new episode of The Masked Singer, and we'll chat about it. Plus, Masked Singer host Nick Cannon is revealing why he has so many children. That's kids. The reason he's dad to 12, coming up on tomorrow's all-new Be More lifestyle.
Find out how to have your business featured on Be More Lifestyle. Email us at BeMoreLifestyleTV@foxbaltimore.com.
Thanks for inviting us into your home. We appreciate you. Make sure you follow Be More Lifestyle on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those platforms. And guess what? We'll see you tomorrow.